Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of, what am I going to call this series? Let's Write a Fantasy Main Theme? Sounds good. Gotta get on that Let's Play bandwagon. In any case, let's listen to what we came up with last time. We have an accompaniment figuration on low strings, bassoons, and piano plus timpani, and then first and second violins with doubling on the English horn, doing a little bit of a counterpoint. Starting at measure 5 unfinished. For whatever reason, I'm just hearing that. I'm hearing a break. And in this case, I'm just going to carry this a little over so they can reset the bell. Yeah, I have no idea why I like that, but it just seems right. Sometimes you got to go with your intuition. Okay. I still think... I'm gonna try the parallel fifth. I'm just gonna see. Yeah, it sounds right. Doesn't bother me. Sorry, Bach. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. I'm gonna try doubling this down an octave. I think it'll be too low, but I'm just curious. I actually like that quite a bit, but not for the beginning here. So let's figure out what are we going to double with this second line. I like the idea of clarinet because it's not as timbrally intense as the English horn. Clarinets are missing every other overtone, by the way, in case I've never told you guys that. Quite an interesting fact. I like that. I think it's going to be too intense, but let's let's just see. You never know. You never know. Sometimes you just gotta try it out. I like it. Let's not do it with the clarinet. The clarinet will sustain, but the strings can do that. The strings don't like to do that for a really extended period of time. A famous example of them getting pissed off having to do that is the unfinished symphony, Schubert's unfinished symphony. The strings are just going digga 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 all day long, and it just like their arms die. So this isn't that big of an issue because they have breaks. You know, every now and then they don't mind doing digga 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 rest digga 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 digga. It's totally fine. It's also not that fast here, and it's not that loud. Because remember, the louder it is, the more bow pressure is required, which takes more calories. Okay. I might want an upper register. This might be too much, but let me try this. I'm going to put all of this down here, which works perfectly fine for the register. And then I'm going to take this line, and I'm going to put it up to the flute, because it's a very nice register for the flute. And I'm also going to select all of this stuff, and I'm going to go to filters and select chord symbols and delete all the chord symbols, because we don't need all those crazy chord symbols. Okay. Okay, so I like that. My problem is now, like, we can barely hear the violas down here, and so I'm gonna bring those violas up to mezzo forte. Oh, you know what? I'm really dumb. The whole conception of that was in my brain to double the melody up the octave. Goodness me. But I'm still going to bring the violas up to mezzo forte. And also, Note Performer just makes the second violins really loud for whatever reason. But by the way, if you do decide to use Note Performer, make sure that if you create a plugin or template, you go to Plugins and you hit this Reset Mixer button, because Sibelius, for whatever reason, by default, makes the mixer faders acclimated for the Sibelius sounds. And Note Performer is going to give you the most accurate representation of real life if you have all of the faders set at 0.0 decibels. Okay. Boop. And I might put the clarinets on staccato, but let's try this out. Nope. Gotta add the slash. Let's try that. I think that might be it. I think that might be the money. Yeah, that's it. That is it. That is absolutely it. Okay. So let me update the clarinetists. And I think I'm actually going to make... By the way, this filters thing is awesome. I just discovered it fairly recently, but you can like just select a passage and like hit slurs. Here's all the slurs. I can delete all the slurs. Those little things save so much time. Anyway, I'm gonna make it staccato. I think I want to I think whenever you have two lines that have similar rhythms, it's a good idea to try and differentiate them. What you can do intervallically, you can make them go in opposite directions, which I've tried to do. You could also do them timbrally, which I've tried to do, but even more so, you can separate them articulatively, if that's an adverb. I really like that. I think the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have vibraphone, because you guys know I like vibraphone. And I'm just going to have the vibraphone play like, because the vibraphone can play very staccato, right? They don't have to play the pedal. They can just play little bloop, 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 bloop. And this kind of register, it blends immaculately with the clarinet. And I don't think it's an unbalancing thing because we have the melody splayed across 2 octaves, whereas the counterline is only a 1 octave. We also could do marimba, but we'll try both. We'll see which one works. Let's try this out. Very, very subtle. I like it, but I think I think it's too dreamy. It's ever so slightly too dreamy. Let's try marimba. I think marimba can handle these lower things better too. Vibraphone, lower register, it gets a little overtony. I'm gonna bring it up. Might be too much. Yeah, you can't, but right at the end you can hear it there. I don't want you to be able to hear it. And you might wonder, what does staccato mean for a marimbaist? It doesn't sustain anyway. Well, first off, marimba has resonators, and it actually sustains quite a while. But to some extent, that depends upon the mallet. The softer mallets, I mean, there's a whole many fine layers of degradation with mallets. And generally, you shouldn't micromanage that a lot. You can write medium, soft, or hard, but you should, most of the time, just the percussionists prefer you to leave that up to them. There are also hybrid mallets. I can't remember. I think it's like two-tone mallets. Mallets that are soft on the outside but have a hard core, and so playing softly, they have a nice soft timbre, but they crack a little bit if you play them louder. Anyway, generally in the lower register, you're going to get more of a resonance and in tone, and sine wavy fundamental pitch. If you use soft mallets, but soft mallets give you you can barely hear soft mallets in the upper register, and so hard mallets tend to sound good in the upper register. It's in the middle where you have some choice. But anyway, I digress. The point that I was trying to get at is that if you play staccato, what they do is they play the mallet down, but rather than letting it bounce off and let it resonate, they just press it down. It's like a closed stroke, on like a snare drum, a closed. There's a name for it. An open stroke, you let the stick bounce off, and then a closed stroke. I don't think it's closed. I think there's another name for it. Let me know in the comments if you remember. It's been years since I took a percussion class. Anyway, if you press it down, there's a name for it. It's killing me. Anyway, but that's what they do with the marimba. It's a that type of thing wouldn't make nearly as much sense on, say, the xylophone, because the xylophone hardly resonates at all. It would make sense in the Glock, though, because the Glock does vibrate a while. And some modern Glocks have pedals. But if you're writing for some local orchestra, then you're unlikely to get a Glock that has a pedal. Our Furman Glock had a pedal. Okay. So I'm going to try this. I'm not sure it's going to work. Okay, so that's nice. So we got some parallel triads there, but I think it might be nice. Let's just hear it. I like to cater make things, but I think it'll work. I don't think we need those. I don't know whether I want to run or something. Yeah, so it's too similar to this, and the intervals don't work because I didn't make them. I didn't design them to work. So we'll have to think of something else. I like the idea of keeping the bass going. I think that'll be fine. Wait, did I just delete something? No, okay, that was right. Excuse me. Goodness me. Okay. I have an idea. Let's just do this because we have a lot of harmony. I mean, we've got a pretty rich sound with the counterline that we've added. Boom, boom, boom. This is bad voice leading, but I don't care because we're not writing for live players. But don't do this if you're writing for live players. You can figure out a way to make it work. You could switch that over to bass clarinet. You could drop just the seconds out for a second. Even for the cellists, they'd have to string cross. And it's not a nightmare, but it'd be a little bit. It's just not the easiest thing in the world. But again, I'm not worrying about it because I'm not writing for live players. And if I ever did an arrangement of this for live players, I could easily fix that. And I would. Doom, 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 doom. So first off, let's just hear what's needed here. That's what I'm hearing. And I think we can drop them down dynamically because they started off mezzo piano. And then I can add the extra layer to the piano. It's a little too heavy. Let's try this. Not that it matters, but for my OCD. Start with the low end, didn't I? Yeah. Just gotta try things out. Alright, I think it just needs a little bit of richness. Part of me likes the lightness of it. I don't think it necessarily needs any more. And also, Jeremy Soule uses so much reverb, and I'm not faulting him for it. It's part of his style. But oftentimes, excuse me, Jeremy Soule can get away with pretty thin textures, but that prevents the large amount of reverb from making his music sound too muddy. Whereas this Note Performer that I have right now, part of it's the reverb that comes with Note Performer, and part of it is the the level of reverb which I can control. But it's really dry right now with Note Performer, and so I'm hesitant to add other things. But let's just try. I'm going to add some quiet horn chords just to try things out. I might interlock them. Not that. Yeah, we can accommodate the melody and the voice leading. That's pretty low though. We might do that with the bones. Yeah, we'll do tuba. 2, 3. Ha. Ooh, okay. Here's a little tip. This is the dissonant tone. It's also the most interesting tone, the tone that moves around. And the trombones don't have true legato because of the slides. You don't want to slide from one note to the next, but there's not a clear... Well, let me see if I can explain this. For valve instruments and rotary instruments like trumpets, tuba, I mean all the instruments except trombones, when you have one note, and then when you press the next note down, all you have to do is adjust your embouchure to go to whatever partial the overtone series you have to do. But the key takes care of the pipe change, and it's like instantaneous, right? You're going from this length pipe to whatever other length pipe in a split second, and so you get this nice little, the classic legato that you hear in good trumpet and horn and tuba playing. But you don't get that on the trombones, because with the trombones you just can't move that quickly. It's always going to sound like a slide. And so what good trombonists do is they have one slide position, they stop breathing for a split second, move to the next spot, and then start breathing, and you barely hear it, but it gives it a more detached. And of course there are great trombone players that can sound surprisingly smooth. But trombones have many strengths, but having the smoothest legato in the world is not one of them. Therefore, either trombone and tuba could play this line, and so I'm going to go against the grain here, and I'm going to have the bass trombone play the low tone, and I'm going to have the tuba play this, because it'll be much smoother for the tuba to play that moving line. So first, let's just hear these together. I'm probably going to make them like pianissimo, but because I want it to be very, very light. Yeah, you hear how smooth that is. That might be too much. It also might be too low. Also, I'm going to do the thing. I think it's a little too... We have a lot of activity, but it's too... It just doesn't have enough oomph. That's a very common thing to do, by the way, because if your melody tends to like focus on main beats, which our melody does, if you have a syncopated 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, focusing on beats 2 and 4 can help. Very, very common. I don't think there's any need to do that with the bass. Just hear these by themselves. Smooth, very smooth. I might bring them down to double P. Nah, I think P is fine. Double B is too much. To some extent, again, that micromanaging dynamics is a point of contention. We'll put it that way. That is a story for another time. And of course, we'll give them breathing room here. I think I might want a gong. I like using gongs lately. They give it, it's a more, archaic kind of sound. And it's a little more, slightly less cliche than using a suspended cymbal, because everyone uses a suspended cymbal every 5 seconds. But I should be technically correct here. Most of the time when people ask for gongs, what they really want are tam-tams. Gongs have curved, convex, concave, it doesn't really matter because it's relative to the orientation, shapes, and gongs are pitched. They have a clear, definite pitch. Tam-tams are flat and don't. And so most people, when they think of the classic, like if you think of Lighting of the Bingots, Lord of the Rings, that's a tam-tam. That's definitely a tam-tam. And so that's why I have a tam-tam in this template. But in any case, that sounds to me like a gong. So, curse you, no performer. It probably just has one gong sound. Ooh-la. Here it's producing that pitch beneath the splash white noise. Normally you just write the let ring symbol, but in this case that's irrelevant. Let's try that. Okay, I'm gonna micromanage it just because it's not, it never plays back correctly. Because it takes a while to get it going. So let's do this, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be really micromanaging here. And then I'm gonna put this right here, and then this right here. Just because it's so delayed. Let's see. Now it sounds perfect. Okay, that's sounding really good so far. I think the brass adds what it needs. I don't think it needs any more. Okay, so I think for the rest of this episode, let's just see if we can get this second section finished. Smooth voice leading. F sharp minor to B minor is a subdominant. Therefore, we have one note in common. Dee doo doo, dee doo doo. Oops, sorry. I thought that was the bass line for a second. Yeah, I think I want to go up. You always have a choice with dominants and subdominants whether or not you want to go like up a fifth or down a fourth. In this case, I don't want that B minor to sound too dark. I want the return to F sharp minor to sound darker. And there isn't any voice crossing involved here, even despite there being closed voicing. And also, like, that's going to have a really blah, kind of a whammy. I mean, you can hear it. It's going to have a bit of a whammy sound. And that low pedal tone, you know, I mean, one step lower, and that's the lowest note of the bass trombone. Interesting tidbit. The bass trombone has an F trigger, which the standard trombone doesn't have. Sorry, excuse me. Strike that. The tenor trombone has an optional F trigger. If it has the F trigger, well, the standard low note is E, you know, that E. You can go all the way down a perfect fourth to B with an F trigger, which most, like, you know, concerto players and film score players have. And interestingly, the bass trombone only goes down to B flat a half step below that. So if you have a tenor trombone with an F trigger, the bass trombone is not even like a totally different instrument, right? The bass trombone, for technical reasons which we don't need to get into, just is more comfortable down there and tends to produce better, more substantive low tones and has a bit more agility. And there's another extra trigger. There's two triggers in the bass trombone. But this is why bass trombone can go just as high as the tenor trombone. It has the same upper register. It doesn't sound quite as amazing up there, but people often don't realize that about the bass trombone. And a good example of this would be Adventures on Earth by John Williams, E.T. John Williams, bum, boom, bum, 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 bum. Right, that's A flat, I'm sure. Bum, bum. He goes all the way up to an A flat, and he has the bass trombones with the tenor trombones, and the bass trombones are playing that high A flat. So, anyway, just something to be aware of, in case you weren't. See, they might be able to do like a slur to get to that. It's not a real slur, but if you're switching to a different partial of the same overtone series and you don't have to move your slide, then all you do is change your embouchure and your lip, and then it sounds like a slur. But they can only do that with certain notes, and it's called a lip slur. Okay. Oops. There go our bar lines. I can just select all this and being slow. Okay. Don't crash. Ever since I upgraded to Sibelius Ultimate, it's been crashing more frequently than it has ever crashed. And I have the latest operating system. So, gotta love upgrading. Nah, I was thinking about whether or not I want to have second flute in the counter lineup, but no, it's just that'd be too much. Too much unnecessary. See, like right here, like I don't even have to sketch this out on the piano staff because I just know what the part writing should be in my head. Especially when you're writing diatonic music. I mean, if I'm writing like some crazy harmonic relativity stuff or like jazz harmony, like I might need to go to a piano staff and get it all figured out. But when you do that stuff and then you come back to writing like simple triadic modal harmony, like you don't even have to think about it. It's just second nature. Let me make sure this sounds right. Watch it be wrong and then foot and mouth. That's what it should be. This can be played by the 29-inch in a nice register, perfectly fine. I don't think there's any need to change the texture for this section. I might add some doubling for this, just to give it a little bit of oomph, since it's not going to distract from the melody, since the melody's on whole notes. But okay, let's see what we have so far. Fingers crossed. Let's see if that's enough. I like that. I like that. That's nice. And again, the voice crossing is fine because there's nothing. There's no distracting from the melody at this point. We'll add those accents there. I was thinking about adding a hairpin, but might be overkill. Oopsies. I really should use my numerical keypad for navigating the different pages. Okay, that should be... Oh, shouldn't this be, Yes, it should. I'm gonna be really micromanaging here. I don't like the way the marimba comes out for this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. This is like really hair splitting. Yeah, see, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Yeah. That's kind of funny. It wouldn't be a nightmare to play, too. It's not like it's super piecemeal. Okay, I'm very satisfied with what we have so far. And now we got to figure out whether or not we want restatement of the melody with more richness or B section. I probably vote B section because, again, we're going to assume they're not going to be on the main menu for an extended period of time. There's also something about this transition that's dissatisfying to me. It comes in too soon, even though it's at pianissimo. Let's try this. And very, very subtle, but it might be just what it needs. Yeah, it might be just one of those elided things. That's the note that the melody starts on, so boom, 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 boom. You know, going into that. And in fact, let me make this what it was originally. Sometimes you don't know what the solution to the problem is. Boom, boom, boom. I don't like that. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what I don't like about it. Let's try with one. Do here. That's too much, but let's try. Again, this is like really. I don't know. Let me listen one more time and we might call it a rest. I think the gong shouldn't be there at all. I think I'm trying too hard. Okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try gong here. But without the lead up. That's it. That's it. What does that remind me of? I think it's something from Chrono Trigger. Anyway, okay. There we go. Tune in next time to see what we do next. See you then.